they're missing. That's the study hall class. High school schedule, we have two schedules. We have our freshman academy schedule, and we have our traditional block schedule for 10 through 12. The freshman academy schedule has 3 year-long courses to start the day. So that's 8 to 9, 9:10 to 10:10, and 10:20 to 11:20. That's your world geography, English 1, and a math class. It could be foundations in algebra. It could be algebra 1. So those students will be in those classes year-long. Teachers meet every day. They post assignments every day. They post videos every single day. So there is work to be done every day in the virtual academy. And that includes Fridays. Fridays we have set aside as a day for wrapping things up, where our students know, hey, this is everything I had done for the week. Let me go back and check and see what I need to work on. Do I need to contact my teacher to have some extra time? What do I need? And a lot of those Fridays, the teacher will already have contacted the student and said, hey, you need to meet with me on Friday to get this stuff done. At the high school level, we offer 3 types of courses. We have a traditional course, which means, hey, we're going to meet every day. We're going to have a team meeting. We're going to have a posted video. There's going to be something every single day. We have proficiency-based courses, and this includes most, if not all, of our elective classes, which may be integrated business apps, it may be PE1, it may be comprehensive health, it may be art appreciation, which I am the esteemed educator. It may be music appreciation. Those classes will not meet every day, but the student needs to go to that team every single day, check their email every single day for assignments that are being posted by that teacher. I know for art appreciation, I send out an email every Sunday evening, and I say, hey, these are your assignments for the week. I'll be helping you out through email and posting things for anything I feel like you may need help with throughout the week. But if you are struggling, you need to contact me for help. So for those elective classes, they need to stay on top of it and make sure those assignments are getting completed. And then we also have credit recovery. Credit recovery is for a student who has taken a class before, did not pass, but made a high enough grade where they can do credit recovery instead of going through the whole course again. So that's where we are right now. Where are we going? High school classes are already using Apex. Most of our teachers are already pre-recording lessons and putting those in there. But one thing you need to know from the high school side is Apex is not directly aligned with the South Carolina state standards. Ms. Katorier was in here earlier. She's our U.S. history teacher. And Coach Reen's in the back. He teaches a little U.S. history as well. And they know that that Apex course does not align very well with the standards from South Carolina. So when they have to take that end of course test, if all we do is Apex, it's going to be very hard for our student to be successful. So know that there will be assignments outside of Apex. There will be expectations that you have to submit assignments that are not just in the Apex program. For our middle school students, some teachers have already started with Apex, and others are still working through to get everybody logged in and where they need to be. But once that comes, you will be doing assignments in Apex. Some of the softwares, I still say K through 5, I should say 6 through 12, my apologies. But some of the software programs that we'll be using, number one, Office 365. That's our email system, our online applications like Word, Excel, Teams, all of that falls into Office 365. Microsoft Teams we touch on. Zoom, sometimes we do have to use Zoom for meeting purposes. We had an issue this week where somebody flipped a switch and none of our teachers had access to be able to start a meeting in Teams. So we immediately had to jump and say, all right, we're moving to Zoom. So I know teachers slammed everybody with emails and said, hey, instead of Teams, we're meeting on Zoom today, here's the link. Sometimes that's going to happen. Please be prepared for that. It's going to happen from time to time. We had an issue last week when the remnants of the hurricane came through and dropped a bunch of rain on a couple different areas, and parents called me and said, hey, our internet's not working this morning. That's fine. Communicate with us. Let us know, and we'll figure out the best approach to it. We also have IXL, which is a math and language arts program, Vocabulary, Study Island, Learning.com, and Khan Academy. Office 365. I'm going to jump out of this for a minute, and I'm going to kind of take us through a little bit of Office 365 so you can see the login process and where your student needs to be going on a daily basis. So the first thing I always do is, and don't judge me by my desktop, because I'm that type of person that flourishes in clutter, which is what this is there. If you look closely, that's a letter from Santa to my children. But on your desktop, on your student's desktop, there is probably an icon that says Office 365. You can click on that icon, or you can pull up, well, here's my Office 365 icon, I found it. Or you can click on a Google Chrome web browser and then just type in www.office.com, and that will take you to the login screen. When you get to the login screen, it'll ask for the email address. Every student in Chester County School District has an email address. That email address is first initial, last name, and then those magical 4 digits that are attached to their name, and then at chester.k12.sc.us. That is their full email address. The password to log into your email is the same password that is used to log into the laptop. So that kind of creates a little continuity there. So when I get into Office 365, I have all these apps down the side. So this is my Microsoft Word, this is Excel, PowerPoint. The one with the O is the email account. I'm not going to open my email because then you will see clutter. But the one with the T is Microsoft Teams. And this is where your student needs to be going every single day. So they come into Teams, I click on my Teams, and you can see these are all the teams that I am a member of. Now, your student will be a member for each class that he is a part of. If he has English 1, there'll be an English 1 team. If he has World Geography, there'll be a World Geography team. If he has PE, there'll be a PE team. So high school students, there should be a minimum of 4. Ninth graders have 5. So keep that in mind. When they go into, and I'm just going to jump in one. Let's see, where are we? Let's go into 6th grade science. So I come in, here is the general page. That means the first page of my Microsoft Teams where students can post things, teachers can post things. You can see right here an assignment has been posted. There's also post, files, class notebooks, and assignments. We're going to go into files and see what we have in here. So I have class materials, class video lessons that are labeled. You know, I can see this one was put in at Tuesday, graphing practice part 1, part 2, line graphs. This would be where I need to go if I'm going to download those videos, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So I come to a video and I see this icon right here with, like, it looks like a little play button. If anybody knows anything about VCRs back in the day, it had that little triangle and it's a play button. So I come to these 3 dots and I click on them, and it gives me all these options to do with this video. The one I want to use is the download function. So now I click download. It's going to pop up right here on my screen, and when it completes that circle, that means that video is now on my computer. I no longer need Wi-Fi or internet access to view that video. Now, where did it go? So if I come down here to the file, and I open it up and I go to downloads, everything I download will go automatically to this folder. Unless I tell it to go somewhere else, it's automatically going to this folder. So you can see right there is Graphing Practice 1, which was the video that I just downloaded. So now let's go back to our post, and we're going to view the assignment. So I'm going to go to, I think this is student view. So I follow the directions. I get down here. I have a Word document, virtual scientific method lab for crickets. I can open that up and see what all I have to do. So I have questions to answer. all that different type of stuff. One thing I don't want to do is type into this document, because this is the master document. Let me get back to where I was. So I want to take this Word document, 3 dots again, and open in Word. Now I can do it 2 different ways. I can open it in Word, or I can open it in Word Online, or I could download it and it'll go to my download folder. What I want to do is open in Word Online. So now anything I do in this document is going to be saved. Let me back up. So I misspoke. I apologize. The first thing I want to do is download this document, because if I go to Microsoft Word Online and I start changing it, it's going to change it for everyone, because that document is shared with the entire class. So I'm going to download the document to my download folder. I'm going to click Enable Editing, and now I can type into this document. So if I have to answer a question, whatever it may be, identify the independent variables. I was an English teacher, so I don't know what that's talking about, but I'm just going to say X value. So now I've answered the questions. I can go up to File, Save As. I'm going to save it on this PC, or I can save it to my OneDrive. We'll get to OneDrive in a second. Let's go ahead and save it there. So I don't have the 4 digits in mine because I'm staff, but your student would have first initial, last name, 4 digits. I'm not going to tell you my password. If I knew my password. Oh, see, it took 3 times. 3 times is always the charm. So now I can do my Chester County OneDrive or my personal OneDrive. I want to do my Chester County OneDrive, put it in my documents, and then I'll save it. So now what should happen, and the way things are going, it probably won't, but what should happen is when I come here to add work, all my OneDrive files will already be there because I have OneDrive highlighted over here. So when I go to turn something in, all I have to do is find that file, which is a lot more difficult for me because I have a lot of files. Let's go with this one. So I just click on it, hit attach, and now my file is going to attach itself to the assignment. Once that blue bar makes it all the way across, it's now attached, and I can come up here and click turn in. And my assignment has now been submitted. Another way, let's say instead of downloading that Word document that we did, say the teacher and the assignment said you need to write a paragraph about the scientific method. Well, I can do that the same way. I come up here to my square made out of dots that some of our teachers like to refer to as a waffle. If I click on my waffle, all my apps come up again. So now I can just go to Word, do a new document, and now I can just type my paragraph. And anything I type in here automatically saves because this is the app version. So if I say, you know, Mr. Spencer is the best ever with an exclamation point, it's saving right now, and now it's saved. So that document is saved to my OneDrive. If I want to change the name of it, I come up here, I just change it. This one will be titled Truth, because Mr. Spencer is the best. Maybe not the best ever, but close to it. So now it's titled. So when I go back to an assignment, I'm going to undo that turn in. I'm going to say add work. And now it's all over here, and I know what this one's titled, so it won't be near as hard. And they're in alphabetical order. So I can come down, oh, there's truth right there, and I can attach that, and boom, there's my work. And when my blue bar gets all the way across, now I can turn in. So that's a couple different ways where our assignments may be, how they're going to be posted by our teachers, how you can turn them in a little bit easier. I know some of us have been struggling with, you know, how to get these things turned in, some having to take pictures, do that sort of stuff. But I hope that was helpful, and if you need a little one-on-one help when we get to the end, that's why we're here. You know, we'll meet with you one-on-one and kind of walk you through anything you need additional help with. Microsoft Teams, that's kind of what we were touching on as we were doing that. That's where your student's going to meet every day with their classes. Their assignments will be where they will turn in most of their assignments when they're not working in Apex. Apex, you're probably asking, you know, what is Apex? Let's take a quick tour. Uh-oh. Now, one thing is very important. We get a lot of students that call and say, hey, I can't log into Apex, something's wrong with my password, something's wrong with my login. Well, the first thing I ask is, what website did you go to? And they'll tell you, oh, well, I went to Apex. Well, how did you put it in? And most of the time they tell me, they come up here, they type Apex, and they hit enter. If they've never put it in correctly before, it's going to take them to the wrong website. Because Apex is not just ours. Apex is everybody's. And we had students last year that when they logged in, they would be trying to log into Apex Michigan instead of Apex Chester County. So our website is www.apexvs.com. And then username and password. Again, that's going to be the first initial, last name, and those magical 4 numbers. And then they will have a new password for Apex. So I'm going to take you in, and we're going to look at a classroom. Let's look at Algebra 1. We're going the wrong way. Bear with me. All right, Algebra 1. So when a student logs into Apex and gets into their course, when they log in, their courses will be listed. And when they click on their courses, each course is broken down into units, like most of our students are used to for their high school classes. And each unit is listed right here. So if I go into Unit 1, Foundations of Algebra, every unit starts with an overview. It's not very long, it's pretty simple. It just kind of gives them a couple key details and objectives for the unit. Once they get into their lesson, There are study guides, and it is exceptionally important for students to do each piece of this puzzle. Don't just try to jump in and say, hey, I'm going to skip this and skip that and go straight to a quiz, because you're not going to be able to pass it. You haven't learned the skills necessary to be successful on that quiz. So when it tells you there is a study guide, this is the actual lesson. And when they open it up, Apex offers a text-to-speech piece. So when I click that, it will actually read all this to me. And it will read it to your students. If there's ever a speaker, it's going to talk you through all the problems. If there's ever an orange button right here, like it says study guide, that's my printable study guide. I can download that. I can do additional problems. The teacher may ask you to download it and then complete it and turn it in. Completely up to the teacher's discretion, or it may just be something that you can work on and then use and reference when you're doing your quiz. So please make sure that as you're working through Apex, you're doing every part of it. Right here we have a mathematical practice. Anytime I have a word that's highlighted, I can click on it. It'll give me a definition. It'll read it to me if I click on the speaker. And it's going to walk me through everything it's going to ask me to do when I get to the quiz or the test. Now, when I get to a quiz, Apex is set up so that every student has 2 shots at every quiz. So if I do the first one, I don't do really well, I can take it again. They have to make a 60 to move forward. Because if they make less than a 60, they're going to be blocked. If I take it the first time and make a 50, I'm going to have to take it again. If I make another 50, I can't move forward without contacting my teacher. And I have to tell my teacher, hey, I struggled on this quiz. So now we have a couple options. The teacher can say, okay, let's get together and have a one-on-one session to work on these skills, and then you can retake the quiz. Or let's get together and work on these skills, and we'll move on so that you'll be ready for the unit test. And then the unit test, all of this, as a student progresses, once they complete something, they move on. And they can keep moving through the unit until they get to the unit test. And once they get to the unit test, they're not going to be able to access that test until their teacher unlocks it. So if I'm a teacher and I don't want them to take the unit test until Friday, I'm probably not going to unlock it until Friday morning.